Hey everybody, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Ready to Die Fighting. I'm Chris, and I got a new to me bike at a bike giveaway at the end of the summer, maybe in the fall last year, and it's really nice. It's a Giant Boulder SE. I looked it up online. It looks like it's probably from 2009, and it appears to be in really good condition. But I do want to do a little bit of work on it, and I figured before I started, um, I would maybe show you guys what I look for and what I plan on doing, and maybe make a little series out of it. See what I can do with this bike. Now the use case for this bike is I already have a really nice mountain bike, and this is also a mountain bike, but my green one is very much a mountain bike. It's got plus size tires, so they're really fat and knobbly. The gearing ratio is quite different from this one. So it's great for trails, it's great for sand and dirt and all that, but just on concrete, not as good. Not as good. I got to work harder to go slower than other people on that bike. Um, and we do like to go on a lot of like slow rolls and just like community rides around the neighborhood with a group of friends or whatever, or on a paved bike trail. We do that quite a bit. So I wanted to have another bike that would be better suited for that task. And this bike is great because it's a nice starting point. It's an entry level mountain bike, but it's nicer than what I would be able to find like at Walmart or something like that, or sporting goods store. This is a bike shop type of bike. So like it's an entry level, good bike to start out with. Better than something that you'd find, for 200 bucks or something. I think brand new back in 2009, it was around 400, 500 bucks. I don't know if they still make them now, to be honest. I don't know, not that familiar with the Giant line. So anyway, so if you're getting a used bike, a few things to look for. Um, Now, there's a lot of things on bikes that are just like cars, consumable items I think of that you're just gonna have to eventually replace anyway. Just like a car, brake pads, tires, um, the chain is gonna have to be replaced eventually. Hand grips, they a lot of times, they're gonna wear out and they're gonna be need to be replaced. Things like that, you're gonna have to do it eventually. Also, these lines, these cables and the housings for them, you need to replace those every so many miles. So things like that, when I'm looking at a used bike, I don't too much worry about. Like if it's in the better condition it's in, awesome. But realistically, if it's like, oh man, the tires are messed up or these cables are no good, who cares? You got to eventually replace those anyway. The bigger concern, in my opinion, is definitely the frame. So I like to make sure that there's no visible, anyways, because that's the best you can do when you're inspecting these bikes, is look for cracks, look for rust. This has a few chips off the paint, but when I was looking at it, oops, let me move this over a little bit. When I was looking at it, I didn't see or feel anything that felt like it was a crack or dents, bends, anything like that. So that is a good sign. That's just a sticker. So yes, that's like the main thing. If your frame is cracked, the bike is pretty much trashed. It's at that point it's dangerous. Um, Another thing is I like to check that the gears work properly. So even if it's not perfectly smooth, I like to make sure that it will cycle through all of the gears that it's supposed to. Um, because if it's not perfectly smooth, that could be a lot of different things. It could be just an adjustment. It could mean that the cables or the housing needs to be replaced. It could be just minor stuff. But if it doesn't change gears at all, so I'm just kind of going through, looking at, so a little clunky there, but it is going through all the gears without much problem. And what I noticed with this, I took this bike for a ride, and I noticed that I really don't like these shifters. So even though they seem to work just fine, and there's nothing wrong with them per se, I don't like them. And then I got some stuff going on with that one. Where's the... But that looks like an adjustment issue. Let me... Okay. It goes through the gears, but it looks like it needs to have an adjustment there. And that's okay to me. That I don't have to worry about. Another thing is fit. So if you found a bike where the gears are working properly, the frame is good, the bike's got to fit you. And that's where this bike is not the best for me. I should have taken it off the stand or not put it up yet when I made this video, but you want to make sure that you can stand over this top tube with your legs straight. And without, when your feet touch the ground, like your feet are flat and this isn't like banging into your crotch. If you can do that, then the bike is rideable and you're good. And I can do that, but the seat is way too high for me. This is as low as it goes, and it forces me when I'm pedaling, like on the downstroke, it forces my leg, when the pedal's all the way down like that, my leg is completely straight, like my knee is locked pretty much, locked out straight. And that's not very comfortable for me. You want your leg to be mostly straight, but I don't know that locked out is good. I like to have a little bit of a bend there. And so I need to bring that seat down just a tad. And then also, the stem here is really long, so I have to reach forward quite a bit to be able to reach this with my short torso. This is nice because we have some spacers here, so I could adjust the height here if I wanted to make this sit higher or lower. They make a lot of different stems that you can buy here to different configurations, so it could be angled up a little bit, angled down, shorter. I don't know if they make them longer, but potentially longer. So you can get the fit that you want, and these aren't super expensive. So that's something I definitely have to replace. And I have to work on this seat to get it lower if I'm going to be able to safely and comfortably ride this bike. Another thing is your brakes. You want to make sure that these bad boys work. Now, if pads are very inexpensive, as long as the mechanics is working well, the mechanics are working well, you can replace the brake pads if you want to. That's easy to do. It doesn't cost very much. And like I said, that's a consumable item that has to be done. If you ride the bike long enough and you use the brakes, eventually that's going to have to be done anyway. So I don't worry too much about that. These brake pads are fine for probably a while, but I'll probably just go ahead and replace them when I'm fixing the other stuff as well. So that's the stuff I got to work on with this bike. I will likely replace the chain, although it doesn't look horrible. I'll likely replace it anyway. And I'm trying to figure out if these teeth, this is called a cassette, if this needs to be replaced or not. It does look like there might be somewhere. I'm not sure, so I'm going to have to check with some people who know a little bit more than I do and get their opinion. So I may have to replace that. I really don't want to. I'm hoping I can just replace the chain. I don't want to put a fortune into this bike. Like I said, it is an entry-level bike, brand new, only $450 or so, around there. Even though I like to ride it for a couple years and then maybe ride it for a year or two and then perhaps sell it or give it away or whatever. I still don't want to put more than what the bike is worth. So I am going to go to my favorite cycle or bike shop. It's called Cycle to Fitness in Livonia, and see what kind of spare parts they have or what they might have cheap that I might be able to do. In a best case scenario, what I'd love to be able to do is I just don't like the styling and look of these handlebars. I would love to get new handlebars. I have to get a new stem, and I'd love to upgrade these shifters, which unfortunately they are integrated with the brake levers, so I would have to replace the brake lever as well as the shifter. So that's probably going to cost more, but I'm going to see what I can do, or if there's a bike I can steal some brake levers off of. I think I've got a spare bike over here that I've just been scavenging for parts, and I think I already took the brake levers off of that for something else. But I'm going to see what I can do, and then I'll be changing the chain. I will be changing all these cables out, brake pads, and I will likely put new tires on there. Even though these tires are in great condition, I mean, they look really good. The thread on them looks good. I don't see any cracks or anything in them. They don't seem to be stressed at all. But these are very much dirt tires. And like I said, I want this for more concrete, paved road type of situation. So I'll probably put some hybrid tires on here. The same ones that I put on Nate's bike last year. Those work really well for him. So I'll probably see if and they were inexpensive. So I'll probably see if I can find some of those again and put on here and save these tires. Clean them off, maybe save them for another bike, another day, or swap them out depending on how I'm planning on riding that day. So, yeah, this is the project bike. This will be a series of videos, all the different things I'm doing with it. Hopefully you guys enjoy my bike videos, because I like working on bikes and I like riding bikes, and I do consider it an important part of prepping. Just because when I think a bike is a great vehicle for prepping in general, for bugging out, covering long distance with very low energy. The energy to distance and speed ratio is really good with bikes. It's like the most perfect mode of transportation in that sense. So I just think they're awesome, and I think they're fun. And being able to fix things and work on things yourself is obviously going to save you money, but also help might not be there. Help might not be there on the side of the road if you crash or something happens and your bike breaks. Have the tools with you, be familiar with your bike, know how to fix it, and you're good to go. There